League Show Jumping Tour and outfitting the top riders in the world as they compete for over $7 million in prize money over 10 events at North America's premier show jumping venues. Founded in 2014 to provide American-made luxury equestrian apparel, Caliday is known for its high-quality products and its modern take on the storied equestrian lifestyle. Visit Caliday.com to shop the entire collection as well as the official Major League Show Jumping apparel and merchandise. Again, they bring us the feature class here today. Thank you again to Caliday. Now, while we thank Caliday for their support, we again thank Captive One as well for their sponsorship of the Open Jumper Rider Bonus. And, of course, last class did play into the points standings, but no change to the ranks as of right now. We have Margie Engel still at the lead, Kathleen Driscoll the runner-up, Santiago Alambre currently third, Beat Manley, Samuel Perot in fourth and fifth, and then a tie for sixth between Carl Cook and Shane Sweetenham right now as we move along to the next event in the schedule here. And this is one of just a few events remaining where points can be earned in the Captive One Open Jumper Rider Bonus standings. $30,000 is on the line on top of the class prize money, and it will be awarded based on points earned throughout the season. Whoever earns the most at the end of the line here when the American Gold Cup Grand Prix takes place on Sunday will take that $30,000 bonus. Thanks again to Captive One, a family of companies that assess, form, and manage captive insurance companies. With a captive insurance company that you own, instead of paying premiums to a commercial carrier, you pay premiums to your captive. Any money not utilized or paid in claims stays in reserves, can be invested, and may become profit in your captive. For a feasibility review, business owners can go to CaptiveOne.com. Quickly going through the course here today, we'll start things out over fence number one, the Caliday Vertical with blue and yellow striped rails, back away from home over the Premier Equestrian Oxer, and the Starry Night Vertical, substantial set of planks there at number 3. Rolling back to the left and jumping the Brownstone Bridge toward home this time, it'll be fence number 4, then down to 5AB, the red pinstripe combination. Down close to the gate is the American Gold Cup Oxer number 6, the going away from home with the Major League Wings is 7ABC, a 1-2 stride. 7 strides onto the CP Liverpool fence at number 8. Rolling back to number 9, the NetJets Oxer. They will then make their way back down toward home over the Cabana Coast Vertical. Dutch Tulip Oxer, that's 10 and 11. And then across the arena over the Bald Eagle Oxer, number 12. And they'll finish out over a very airy Liverpool Vertical with solid white rails there at fence number 13, hoping to be within the 79-second time allowed. We're about set to go. Top of the order coming to us here in just a moment. It is just about showtime for, again, our Friday feature events. Once again, we'll be joined now by our first rider. We've had a number of scratches, 35 total entries will compete today. The rider based in Hampton, Massachusetts, but representing Great Britain, we have Grace Debney up next here with Temple Equestrian LLC to start the class. This is entry Zarina de Vidal. It is an 11-year-old bay mare by Diamant de Samilly. And again, the recent bronze medal rider at the European Young Rider Championships as a part of the bronze medal team. She was actually top 6 and the best-ranked British rider at those games. And Zarina de Vidal, Grace Debney's mount today. 6:69 will show the way.
throughout August, and on to the wins that started off the season in Wellington, Florida as well, notching them up since then in the likes of Old Salem, and also into a few other venues around the States as well. Kanoka was a good finish for her back into Europe as they headed across there before those Young Rider European Championships, and now on this bay mare by de Montesemi. And for the 18-year-old, just having the back bar of that CP fence as well. Alan Wade, our course designer, here throughout the week for the American Gold Cup week here. Time allowed of 79 seconds around the track. It's 5 strides down to the vertical there at the last, finishing on a total of 8:77.73 for Grace Debney and Zarina de Vidal to be our trailblazer for this class. So $73,800 to be exact in the prize fund for this one. Just there over the CP fence, picks up all right, but just unfortunately doesn't make the distance across. And on to Beat Manley now of Switzerland, and the Grant Road partners, Chatrain Puy Noir, the chestnut mare by Cannon, a 10-year-old for Beat, and one that Beat's giving more exposure into the big classes for as well. We saw him a little bit earlier on with his top ride in Desari, and from various championship appearances from him, from World Championships, World Cup finals, of course, which he was a winner of, Olympics, Europeans, continues to be one of the best around. Finished well with this horse in the Hampton Classic, and actually in the 2-star Grand Prix there, finishing top 3 there. I'd say this one just been getting a bit more exposure this year for this combination. So fairly new one for them. Jumped in Upperville and here in Traverse City where they went so well, including winning a Grand Prix back into the early part of the year, back into June. They've gained good points as well in the Leading Rider Series here in Traverse City. Former rider, French rider Guillaume Fautrier of France, also been ridden by Katie Dinan in France this year as well. Triple combination, 1 stride and 2 with the vertical on the way out. It looks like 7 strides down to the CP fence after that. They'll roll back to the NetJets fence again. Alan Way just giving them every opportunity to make up, or if you drift a little, lose time around the course. Little skinny Cabana Coast fence. And then the vases after that. Again, just gives you just got to give a little bit of a drive to get down this line on the 5. It starts to get a little bit forward there, and it's a good round at 76.68, and will give us the first of the clears. Like I say, stepping up to the bigger classes now with this horse. In fact, this first 5-star appearance for the combination of Chatrain Puy Noir and Beat Manley. So it's a good one to kick them off, giving us the first of the clears for Beat. Will Simpson, staying with riders who've delivered for the USA before now, and for him, he's of course based over in California. Olympic gold in 2008 in Beijing, and now for the well-established Californian rider who went well here last year as well in Traverse City into the big classes, now heading here once again. Top 3 last week as well in the Grand Prix in Socrates, New York. And otherwise been competing down with in Lexington shows and in Ocala this year as well. Back with Chaco P once again, the gelding by Chaco Blue. Really his main ride for this level. Finished one in the World Cup qualifier in Ocala, again with the fence just going past the in-gate. Just a little hesitant on getting the distance across it. It's the 7 right to the CP fence, then just keeping the balance on the roll back to the net jets fence. Again, he's got you moving and looping, testing balance and control all the way. Little skinny here. And that'll come on the 4 strides. Again, they've got to keep enough momentum down this line to get here. But again, he always seems to be a little bit of a hold for them. They get very forward and they just get the 4. Covers the ground really well, Chaco P. And 77.89, but unfortunately that one fence over near the in-gate. Just 1 down for Will Simpson of the USA. So of those clears, we've got a bit of Manly. At the moment, Chatrain Puinois, long way to go in this class. Just 3 have given us a tour around the track set by Alan Wade this week. Alan, the course designer for many big classes here in the United States, from World Cups through to the last World Championships that took place in 2018. On US soil anyway. Of course, we had the latest edition in 2022. World number 4, Connor Swale. Connor, the Irishman, with Vital Chance de la Roque for this French-produced ride by de Montesimi out of Image du Château II. And for Swale, multiple wins, as we've already seen, on the Major League Jumping Tour. On the team as well for the Eye Candy squad. Super run in Dublin as well in the last few weeks. Then went up to Calgary last week as well for a list of wins there as well, through 3-star and 5-star. Really on flying form there, and of course with this combination finishing 2nd in that Grand Prix in Ottawa just a few weeks ago to Kent Farrington. Get the 7 down to the night skyline, little plank on the top there. Again, actually, although split up, looks a solid fence for them to jump well. Again, a little verbal instruction from Connor just to whoa coming through the double again with the horizontal lines this time. That just makes that a little bit harder on the eye. Not quite as bold to pick out the poles on. Another one that has to hold to get the 7. Just loses a little bit of the balance on the corner, but then Connor gathering them back up. And then keeps moving in a good rhythm back to the net jets fence. Again, Alan quickly gets you back on the left rein then to finish off. And does well, gets the 5 okay. Time is going to be 78.96, time allowed at 79. Means they just squeak inside that time allowed for Connor Swale and Vital Chance de la Roque. Getting keen to get there, but just having to do a bit of holding to stay within the parameters of the distance there for Connor Swale and Vital Chance. So loses them a little time, 78.96, so they will give us the 2nd of the clears. Vanessa Mannix trains, in fact, with Connor Swale, has done for a long, well, most of her jumping career for a long period now. The Canadian, who also heads here after competing at Spruce Meadows in the last few weeks, we're also just a little bit of a touch there. She was with us on the previous stage of Major League Jumping in Ottawa. Went very strongly again through the shows in Vancouver at Thunderbird, which was the opening stage of Major League Jumping this year. Pairing that finished top 3 in the Grand Prix there, again has been mixing through the range of the stars this season, mainly Canadian based for Vanessa. Gets a bump onto the Oli Netjets fence, but it stays. So they can't afford it at the second, and they don't. They're clean over that. Time allowed of 7. Oh, and unfortunately just didn't work out there. They were holding and just didn't get the rhythm and spot for where they wanted. So they're going to have to circle. I was just wondering whether they're going to get a little bit close to time as well, but well, finished well, clears all the fences, but unfortunately a circle on track means there's time to add as well. 11 of those takes them to 15 there in 89.6 for Vanessa Mannix and Katinka 25. So it doesn't quite work out as they would have hoped. Ashley Bond now of Israel, based in Florida. Caroline of Bullmore, a new ride for her this year that very swiftly jumped out of us all, having won the Rolex Grand Prix down in Wellington, Florida in the early part of the year. It was probably one of their very early stages. They literally jumped a couple of rounds at that point. Otherwise, she's been a strong contender right the way through Major League again this year, as well as her appearances last year, heading up that Helios team that won the first 3 stages too. Of course, she was a part of that as well. This was the horse she rode, in fact, to the World Championships this year. Finished top 6, and with a win with Donatello that she also has here into last week in Socrates in the Grand Prix there. Very swiftly built up this partnership with the horse that came from the Philip Arts team. Yeah, just leans forward, just gets that nice forward rhythm down to the vases. And should be okay for time, all right, and looking good. It's another 5-star pairing that do well, 76.32, and third of the clears so far. Ashley Bond and Caroline of Bullmore. Tucks up so tightly through that triple combination there. Simon McCarthy now of the Helios team as well, and Gotcha for the Rock Ridge Farms of Norman, Indiana. Simon again being a key player for the Helios team. They've been very much using the squad throughout the round so far, very effectively. Got great strength and depth there to be able to go to. Simon finishing well in the Grand Prix here last week in Traverse City as well, as part of their Tournament of Champions series to set up for this week's Major League. So onto that winning squad back here as well in August. Just coming home on the 4 faults then, should be okay for time. Just flattens a little off at the last, gives the last pole a rock just on the 4 faults, 76.27 for Simon McCarthy, so just the one down with Gotcha. So Simon McCarthy goes close. 3 of them clear so far. Be it Manley, Connor Swale, and also that clear of Ashley Bond. Quentin Judge with the plank down for the Wellington-based rider with HH Zorro Z, the 9-year-old by Zorocco Blue. And seeing this one a little bit more this year into the 5-star classes you'd expect with a 9-year-old. Coming home on the 8 faults for them. Again, there's dropping into a nice rhythm to finish off, but 78.28 puts them just inside the time to score of 8 for Quentin Judge and HH Zorro Z. Nicky Galligan and Unique Star just about to make their way down. Reminder of those clears so far, be it Manley, Connor Swale and Ashley Bonds. Just a moment's break as part of our first round of the class here today in Traverse City. Reminder what's coming up tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock the aim with the team competition, and then on Sunday 2 o'clock. Join us from around 1:30 for the build-up to this year's American Gold Cup as well. Looks like Andrew Wells making his way down there. Andrew, a regular here in Traverse City, was on teams last year as well as part of Major League. Idol H&H has really been his go-to horse this season for Andrew, for the Itasca group. The 9-year-olds, gelding by Action Breaker. Trump a number around here in Traverse City, headed up to the 5 stars at Spruce Meadows as well, back into July. Again, has been working through the 2 and 3 stars really this year. Last year, a couple of appearances in Major League in Traverse City in September. This show, this time last year. And then on to Caledon after that, where they finished with 2 top 5 finishes. Andrew based between Wellington, Florida and also Illinois. Again, keeps a good pace so far. Key is not to go drifting too far after that double at 5 as he gets him back past the in-gate. Just holds down the line to the CP Ox. It'll be interesting to see where that puts them for time, because the time just puts enough pressure on at the moment. A little touch at the NetJets fence. Get the head up and over the vases. Just looking for a quiet run down there, and it should just be enough. 79.12. It's not quite enough. It was going to run very close. It's just the one for time, just one hole too many, I think. And Andrew Wells, again, I think going to be happy enough with that too for the horse that's stepping up more there, with the 9-year-old gelding by Action Breaker Idle H&H for Andrew Wells, just finishing on the one time. So into fourth as it goes so far. And Georgina Bloomberg now joining us for the American Gold Cup meeting again here in Traverse City. Talara Colmine, Australian bred horse, in fact, stallion by Coleman, out of Talara Quinine for Georgina. The Gotham Enterprise is her bases, including up in New York, of course. Jumped to the 5 stars at the Hampton Classic in the last few weeks too. Back here in Traverse City for a couple of the shows. In fact, this pairing finished second in the 3-star Grand Prix here at the end of July. Actually had a very solid run here in Traverse City throughout that period, the Great Lakes Equestrian Festival. Just unfortunately leaves the front legs on the second part. Certainly getting air at the moment. Otherwise looking at good rounds so far. Just a couple of fences from home for Georgina's just to get home on the 4. Being a regular rider as part of the American Gold Cup meeting. Finished on the 4 at 76.07, so just on the 4 for Georgina Bloomberg this time with the Australian ride. Now long established as a combination together.
Another rider for the U.S. is Vanessa Hood with Take 2 LLC's Connor. Number 223 is in next.
Vanessa Hood and Connor. Vanessa, based down in Wellington, Florida these days too, has also been based across over in California. Now headed across back to the East Coast. Connor, a horse that she's been establishing a partnership with throughout 2022, former rider of Teddy Vlock. And Stephen Moore more recently in the early part of this year. Of course, Stephen was part of their same stable for the Vlock Show stables. Vanessa building a nice partnership with this horse, actually competed with us in Ottawa as well, and at the Toronto stage of Major League before that. Oh, and just unfortunately doesn't work out at the planks. It'll turn back to it this time, no trouble at all. Just gets a little forward through there to have the second part of the double. Vanessa building this partnership up throughout 2022. Maybe going to Cascaretto as well for her leading ride up to this point. Again, just going very steady at the moment, just really testing the buttons out on this horse again today. It's a bit of a rockier start. Now just want to make sure they have a solid finish. 5 to the last, neatly enough, gets to the score of 16, going to be plus some time as well, 96.89. Will take the score higher up to 34 for Vanessa Hood and Connor this time, I'm afraid.
Now it's the winning horse rider combinations from our 5-star Grand Prix last month here in Traverse City. It's Callie Shot aboard the 11-year-old Chestnut Gelding by Wild. This is the lap.
Callie Shot coming into view, and Callie, winner of the 5-star Grand Prix here in Traverse City, just back on that previous staging in early August of Major League. Also then went on to finish well, 4th place in the Grand Prix at Ottawa the other day as well. Garant, the gelding by Warrant. That's an 8-year-old ridden by BC Madden, this horse to win the American Gold Cup as well. One of her, I think, 3 wins in the Gold Cup. But Callie has really built a nice partnership with this very swiftly. Good, confident run from her as well. Training with John and BC Madden. John watching from up on the hill. BC a little further up, getting ready in riding kit herself. Just a little close to that vertical. Now gets the engine going through the double. Now a more settled run. A little bit of a sticky start, but actually is going to come together with a good round overall and finishes nicely there. Going to be inside the time. Callie Shot and Garant really are proving there's such a consistent combination now. Going clear there for Callie, and so gets another of the clears on the board. Will give us the 4th clear round of this Calladay sponsor class so far. Over $73,000 in the prize fund for this 150. So Callie joining Ashley Bond, Connor Swale and Beat Manley at this stage. Daniel Blumen, Gemma W. The Dutch bred mare by Luidan for the over-the-top stables for Daniel. Another of those riders with, I think, 4 riders here this week in the world's top 20. Blumen going close in the Hampton Classic Grand Prix with this horse just a couple of weeks ago to finish 2nd there. Was also at the Masters at Calgary just last week as well with Ladriano. We saw Kashmir Praise, it's also here this week, but won the 2-star Grand Prix at the Hampton Classic. Good win behind him too in the winning round in Ottawa with us on the turf. This the pairing also, of course, that won the Grand Prix at Angelstone. That followed up well from the year before where he was top in the big classes there as well. Still looking good. Gemma W stepped up so well within the 5 stars now to be a really top partnership, and will give them another of the clears. 5th clear of the class so far. Danny Blumen and Gemma W putting themselves in the frame. Daniel been also off on a European campaign this summer. Major shows of Aachen, Paris, through to Valkenswaard. Of course, that was a lot of that was in the build-up to the World Championships in Herning in Denmark. And looks like we're heading to Kent Farrington, in fact, now with Orofina. Farrington on fine form, of course, up in Ottawa that we saw there, with the good win in the Grand Prix for that pairing there. Went so successfully too at the Masters up at Spruce Meadows. Flew round with Credence to win a very good 5-star there, alongside, of course, just before that with Gazelle as well. So he topped the Grand Prix class in Ottawa. Also top of the team class there as well. Orofina being used more and more through those big shows this year. She's built up this 10-year-old. Has gone so well. Has picked off around 8 or 9 big classes so far this year already. Again, he just keeps a good pace, although he's got a little bit wider there. Smoothly done. Again, just plays around his head a little bit, which is what a couple of his horses do, but they are so fast and effective. There we go. And again, likely to be that again this afternoon. Kent Farrington giving us another clear on the bounce. Kent and Orofina going clear. 6 of them as part of this jump off so far, looking very strong as well as he joins Daniel Blumen. He and Blumen were having a good battle between each other up at Angelstone a few weeks ago as well. Looks like some of that set to resume here in Traverse City. Kent Farrington, a twice winner of the American Gold Cup, which will be our Grand Prix class here on Sunday as well. Alexis Sokolov now. Alexis, who's been getting more experience into these bigger shows this year. Her first season doing Major League jumping. Calciet EBZ for Alexis, also been ridden a little by Connor Swell, who she trains with. Horse that came from Gregory Waterley back into last year. Alexis just been getting to grips with his combination. A couple of double clears though in there. Unfortunately, just close to the wall, gives a fair bang as the pole drops onto it. A wall that's caused a little bit of trouble so far this week. It's an older fence, there's nothing new in there, but some seeing some shadows, I think, a little bit earlier on and yesterday. Just holding for the CP fence. Is already on the forward, so might just have to think about the time a little bit again. If you drift a little bit too far, it's going to brush off the NetJets Oxa front part as well. Going to leave them with at least 8 and some time to add to the score. 28.08, so take them up to a score of 12 overall for Alexis Sokolov and Calciet EBZ. 6 clears at the moment, but 12 for Alexis. Paul O'Shea now of Team Eye Candy as well for our next to go for the Irishman. Again, now a mainstay of the Major League Series. Also another one just returned from Spruce Meadows and headed here to Traverse City. Squirt Gun, of course, has been one of his regular rides through the team competition too. Jumped on so many superb teams last year to notch up the wins. I think it was 4 wins in total. Gets a little close to the plank there. Again, they've just got to keep the horses' concentration as they go past the in-gate, and unfortunately drop short coming into the combination. Just going to come home on the 4, should be okay for time. We'll still put them in the money so far. It's going to be 75 or thereabouts. 4 there for Paul O'Shea, yep, 75.1 for Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. So just dropping the 1 fence coming into the double, just unfortunately completely loses the height of that top bar coming in. More sure-footed on the rest. Thomas Joffre, Cadora. Grand Prix winners previously here in Traverse City. Nations Cup rider for Argentina before now in Wellington, Florida. Cadora part of the teams too. Just a few weeks ago, didn't quite go to plan there. Up at Angelstone as well. I say some really solid runs otherwise here in Traverse City. Finished top 5 in the 5-star Grand Prix here for the Major League back in August. A little bit unsure at the planks. Takes the pace right off as they come to the double. Unfortunately leaves them with legs behind coming through the first part. A little bit steady there as well, unfortunately means they have the back bar down to the middle part. And more impetus now at the CP Oxa. Going to come home on a little bit of time as well, I would think. Yeah, 12 jumping and time to add there as well for Thomas Joffre and Cadora. 81.67, finishing on time to add of 3, so that will take them to 15 in total. Yes, of course, 79 seconds time allowed, so 15 final score for Thomas Joffre this time. Roberto Terran and another well-established pairing right the way through 5-star through to, in fact, championships. Roberto with Des Uptov. Now on this 14-year-old for Roberto, who's based down in Wellington, Florida. Was the road, in fact, at the World Championships this year for the Colombian squad. A very good horse called Woklahoma that he went on to win medals at the Central American Games and also compete at the World Games in 2014. Steadies down to get the CP fence just enough to get the energy to get the back bar as well. Just a good old tap at the previous one, and it's going to be just enough for time by the looks of it. 77.66. Either way it happens, it is the 7th of the clears. Good round of applause going from the tent up above. And clear there, Roberto Turan and Dees Uchtdorf, clear round number 7 of this Caladay 150 this afternoon. I think coming up towards the halfway stage of the first round of this 150. Remind you the clears, be it Manley, Connor Swale, Ashley Bond, Callie Schott, Daniel Blumen, Kent Farrington, and now Roberto Turan join the clears so far. Just approaching the break, not sure whether McLean is coming pre or post. Yeah, looks like we've got a confirmation of, we're just going to take a breather at this point. Halfway stage of this Caladay 150 class, and we'll see McLean Ward in a few minutes' time, so that's worth coming back for as well, with Elias back in around 5 minutes there or thereabouts, just as the tractors will be in just a moment, and into the second half. As we say, we've got 7 clears at this point of this afternoon's $73,000 plus 150 jumper.
Down to thank Caladay for their support. Proud sponsor now for the 2nd year of the Major League Show Jumping Tour. Again, where we're competing for over $7 million in prize money through 10 events at North America's premier show jumping venues. Caladay, founded in 2014, provides American-made luxury equestrian apparel known for its high-quality products and modern takes on the storied equestrian lifestyle. Visit Caladay.com to shop the entire collection, as well as the official Major League Show Jumping apparel and merchandise. And speaking of merchandise, we've got the merchandise booth open for business at the end of Vendor Row, across from the food stand. If you'd like to stop by, Traverse City Horse Show final week is in progress now with the American Gold Cup. So leave here looking your best by stopping at the merchandise stand. And that's open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. All merchandise 50% off through the course of the week. We'll be back underway here with the second half of action in our 5-star jump-off class after the drag break. refreshment. He'll join us in just a moment through the arch there. McLean, of course, coming off of the speed five-star victory that just wrapped up. And here in our jump-off class, he'll pilot the 14-year-old bay Belgian stallion by Emerald Venet Rudershoff Ilias for Beechwood Stables LLC. He enters the week at the 16th spot on the world ranking. And, of course, victories at Old Salem, Devon, Aachen, of course, early in the year at Wellington, and, of course, late last season in Leipzig. Also going to his credit. Here he is to show now in the 21st position of the order with Ilias number 114.
Well, now on to McLean Ward with Ilias, normally being the ride of Annabelle Revers last season, and McLean now picking up the ride for this rides a number of horses with the Revers family, and rode to just one time fault in Hampton Classic a few weeks ago in a five-star class there. That was their first international outing. Now heading here to, of course, the American Gold Cup, the Beechwood Stables stallion by Emerald. McLean being on, as ever, good consistent form. Performed well at, of course, Spruce Meadows there, with a good win there with HH Azure, and finishing well with her too. Looking in fine fettle in the Masters Grand Prix. Those wins earlier this season in Aachen as well saw him again proving his worldwide ability on European soil. Also, have seen plenty of times, of course, with Annabelle through training there, but now in the saddle for him for a few of the bigger shows. Should prove a very nice combination. Good partnership coming together. Going to be good for time as well. 76.81, and gives us very swiftly clear coming into this second half for McLean Ward from Brewster, New York, with Ilias. Very nice combination as well. It's with the Emerald breeding in. Alex Granato and Helios Spendanusi Huve, the gelding by Numero Uno for the now 10-year-old for the Kismer Equestrian. Alex with that win yesterday. In fact, it was earlier today. It all starts to meld. A little bit earlier on into the speed class for Alex Granato, putting that nice win together with Calcium W, but that will set them up nicely for the week. Could well be Calcium W. I'd think that he will aim towards the American Gold Cup here on Sunday. Helios, he's been using a little bit more this year as they've got into the bigger classes, and for this combination that jumped well to start off in Lexington, his home base down there, to their last appearance at 5-star. That was here in Traverse City as well a few weeks ago, back into August. Now on this 10-year-old, of course, Alex so established with Calcium W that were part of US teams. He's now 14 years of age, still at its very much at its prime, but bringing this one along now under his former rider Gustavo Preto of Argentina, briefly earlier this year. So he had not too much exposure at this level before now, so step up here into the 150s again for Helios. Going to come home with a couple down, finishing on a score of 8 at 77.96. 8 for Alex Granato. And Helios for them. So 8 is the number still of clears that we have. McLean Ward, the most recent, and building very nicely with McLean going up against the likes of Ken Farrington, Daniel Blumen in there, Ashley Bond, Connor Swale, Beat Manley, looking a strong group so far. Love to be in the hunt too would be Jordan Coyle, Costa Diam for the land farm of Newark, New Jersey. Saw him, of course, go to those wins earlier on this year in Vancouver. Last year, the 5-star Grand Prix in California. Followed that up from the Upperville Grand Prix as well at the 4-star level. Costa Diam, not done so many of those level courses yet. He was top 5 in the Grand Prix with Central Cavallo in Socrates last week as well. Of course, Ariso has been the horse in Picador, and he's tended to use in those big classes so far. Ariso being that Grand Prix winner for him. Costa Diam going round for the 8 faults in Ottawa a few weeks ago. He really started moving up this year. Just gets stuck in the middle part of the combination. Again, keeps moving because 4 faults will put him in some prize money at the moment. Paul O'Shea, the fastest of the 4s on Squirt Gun in 10th place at the moment. Just going to be over the time as well, though, unfortunately, as I say, not quite so much 5-star exposure for this horse. It's good to see them going well with Jordan as they get a little bit more mileage, but on the 5, 79.1 for Jordan Coyle and Costa Diam. So tending to go to Ariso for those big Grand Prix wins so far. More to come from that combination yet, but finish on a total of 5. Bertie Michan, we saw a little bit earlier, getting 2nd and 3rd in our speed class. Nabal Trevera for Alberto, based down in Wellington, Florida, riding internationally for Israel. And with the 12-year-old now for Abby Michan, well-established rider through Olympic Games, Championships, and now being based over on the west coast of the US. 3-time World Championship rider. Bronze at the Pan Am Games previously. Of course, the next edition of that coming up next year. Again, with key Olympic slots there once again. One of the Grand Prix in Ocala back into June of this year, just for a couple of time faults, as this horse was getting more big rounds behind them. 4 faults in the Grand Prix in Vancouver as well. It's a good pacey turn there, but unfortunately doesn't snap up quickly in front and just catches the pole there. It's going to make them a score of 8 so far. And similarly for the Eagle Oxer, going to roll them up to a score of 12 overall on 77.55. 12 for Bertie Michan and the rider for Nabal de Trevera. So puts them on 12 overall, 77.55. Still holding at the 8 clears at the moment, well through the first round of this jump-off class sponsored by Caladay this afternoon. Sam Walker coming into view, sunglasses adorned. The Evergate Stables, Emelian van der Hoek here for the mare by Tangelo van der Zuteva for Sam from Nobleton, Ontario. Another of those young enough to have been competing too at the Young Rider Championships this year, but Sam already been a sensation within the Major League jumping ranks too, having gone so well last year as well. 20 years of age this year. Top 3 in the winning round in Ottawa a few weeks ago. Won with Evita there as well, on Canadian home ground there too. Just gives a little squeak to just get him going forward and going. Just that verbal encouragement alongside the physical. Travels well to that American Gold Cup Oxer. Got a really good pace on this so far. Again, gets high and gets stuck, unfortunately, in the middle part. So bell goes. The middle part will be the 4, second part, or rather the last part will give them 4 for a stop. See what the plan is from Sam. It's a good pairing, 15 years of age now, so it doesn't need an awful lot of practice in terms of training, so he's going to do what I thought he might do, is just go and jump the first fence and just take them out. It's one of those things that just happens. 9 times out of 10 wouldn't, but just got a high shot in the triple combination there, got high, landed short, and that just left them in trouble for the last part as well. Sam Walker heads on out. Hunter Holloway. In fact, before that, we're going to Lucy Delaurie. In fact, Hunter Holloway was due to go, so let's go to Lucy Delaurie instead. Lucia LLC's Ananda. So moving on to Lucy, another of those younger riders now balancing schooling up with jumping career. Father Mario here this week helping alongside. He's got a horse in the 2-star. Unfortunately wasn't able to bring the horse forward for the 5-star as well. He's a multiple winner of that American Gold Cup. Lucy bronze medalist at the last Pan Am Games. Of course, that was in Lima. Tends to go to Hester throughout her major jumping career, but now just stepping up a little bit more of a gear with Ananda as well. Jumped some nice double clears in the Hamptons as well. Just coming home on the 4, but again a horse that really only this year seeing them mainly into the major 5-star classes. To jump in Aachen last year, but now stepping into the bigger tracks. On the 4, 74.66 for Lucy Delaurie, and Ananda to leave them on just the 4 faults. Just remind you the clears so far. Strong line up the clears in Beat Manley, Connor Swale, Ashley Bond, Callie Schott, Daniel Blumen, Kent Farrington, Roberto Turan, and McLean Ward, the clears so far. Alec Lawler now, Grand Prix winner with us here in Traverse City, previously into 2022 as well. The Californian rider with 4 goals. The gelding by 4 Fashion for Alec. And for him, again, being a good move forward for him as well with this horse. Unfortunately, like a previous combination, not so keen on the Starlight planks. For gold, jumping on the teams as well a few weeks ago as part of the Roadrunners squad up at Angelstone at the Toronto stage. Takes the second spin at the planks. There's a little look at it. Now see how far he's going to want to progress. And again, to say it's been a move up of courses for them this year, coming into the 5-star for the first time. Here is part of the team in Traverse City in August. Quite a few of the Californians basing here in Michigan throughout the summer months. Back in the stride that we've seen from this pairing throughout. For Fashion proving a very good sire as well. Kent Farrington with a very good horse by For Fashion as well. Just drops low at the Cabana. Skinny there as well, and unfortunately time-wise will kick in to make the score look a bit bigger, I'm afraid. Home with a time of 110.17, so it was 12 plus the time there. Unfortunately just didn't work out to the plank for Alec Lawler and for gold, so not quite to be by their standards today. As I say, the time will make it look a lot worse than it actually was. Shane Sweetnam coming into view. James Can Cruz for the Gizmo Partners. And the Irishman based in Wellington, Florida, with this very good 9-year-old gelding by Cannon. Finished top 3 in the Dublin Grand Prix, part of the winning team in Dublin a few weeks ago. It's been the horse that many have talked about, and several have definitely got their eye on towards that American Gold Cup here on Sunday as well. Hannah Robertson joins me as well. Hannah, very good afternoon. Now, you've been doing some interviews with riders as well to get what they think, but this is a very good combination. Really looked solid yesterday as they were getting warmed up as well and ready. You've been talking, I think, to Lugano team as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just been having a bit of a chat to Vanessa and Carly from Team Lugano, who of course had that fantastic win at our latest leg in Ottawa. They had a little bit of a trickier start to the season with a 6th, 7th and an 8th place prior to that, so they were sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard, but the win has taken them up to 6th place, and they're hoping that they'll become ever more consistent as the season goes on. They've got a couple of new riders to the teams competing for them this week, but in terms of Carly's horse, Elite Chin, she feels that it's a venue and an arena that really suits her horse. So I think quite a lot of excitement and enthusiasm and potentially positivity for a decent result here this week for Team Lugano. Yeah,
and for this combination, I would say, watching this pairing so far, really nice to watch this super horse. We'll see a lot more of them in the years to come. It's again got potential championship written all over it. Shane was very excited about this horse coming to the States, reduced with Fran Connors in Ireland. Just does it pretty easily indeed, just gets the nice control down there, and still with some mileage to put on the clock for them, but it is good at 76.03 and adds into the clears to make a very strong jump off this class so far, with Shane Sweetnam giving us number 9 of those clears with James Can Cruz.
Well, that plank fence that caused a little bit of a problem earlier on for Alec Lawler with 4 gold is where Santiago Lambre sees himself now. He's just making sure that Casey has a little bit of a look at that fence, because of course it is really quite eye-catching. Santiago Lambre and Casey for Brazil, our next pair into the ring.
Yeah, nice winners already here in Traverse City in the last couple of weeks as well. Santiago been on absolute storming run of shows here in Traverse City in the run of what's been the 3 weeks of competition here. Similar terrific run down in Ocala, Florida as well. But Casey looking good against the clock in the last 14 days too.
Yeah, he had a good win in a 3-star competition here just about a week ago. It was a 1m45 class with a really nice double clear, but it's actually a horse that he's just been getting to grips with, as you say, over a couple of venues this year so far. A horse that was previously with Philip Weishaupt.
Just unfortunately dropped short through the triple combination. Just a little stutter through there, leaves them on the 4 at the moment. Philip Weishaupt, who came over to the States earlier this year, won a 5-star Grand Prix there with Kobe down in Wellington, Florida. Was part of the Ludger Beerbaum team. Just going to get them home on the 4. And a good step up for this pair with Casey and Santiago Lamre. Just that one error coming at the triple combination. Finishes on the 4 in 77.26. Jumps well over the planks, all right. But this is where the error comes. Just takes it almost like a vertical and just takes the back bar with them. Still smiling on the way out. I say not too much to worry about for that pair as they finish on the 4. Juan Ortiz now and Blue Trim LLC's Kinky Boy for Juan Ortiz of Venezuela, based here in the US though, of course, has been for some time.
I think we've said a few times about this pair in the past few weeks that they are knocking on the door for a really good result, and they've had plenty of really encouraging performances. This pair are actually 30% of the time clear over fences of 150, 38% clear at 155. So they are becoming more consistent, but it's a horse that he's only had since February of this year, which seems quite incredible when you think of the number of competitions we've seen them in. It's a horse previously ridden by Frank Schutert. And Juan rode this horse in the 5-star Grand Prix here at Traverse City at our previous leg, but had 3 fences down. But they've been getting more and more consistent as these 5-star Grand Prix have been going on through the Major League season.
Horse with plenty of scope coming down to the final couple. Just may run close to time. Time allowed of 79. Just might be enough. And it just has a penultimate fence down anyway. Just on the 4, I think, by the looks of it. So 78.2 for Juan Ortiz and Kinky Boy just to finish on the 4 faults on what was a very solid round. Otherwise, just drags off the front bar behind. Oh, and unfortunately, heavy drop of the poles there for Lacey and Carlin. A little uncharacteristic for that pair. Unfortunately, a bit of a scramble through that one. But again, keeps their composure. Jumps big over the next couple. And now she's just trying to keep the ship steadied in there. Just get a good run around this turn to just get them back in their route, back in the groove.
It's quite impressive how much she's done that, actually, because we can see in front of us that she's actually broken one of the poles with that fault. As you say, a very heavy faulting, heavy falling pole, but very uncharacteristic. They've been going really better and better. She's jumped 13 clear rounds with this horse this year so far, and she was 11th in the Major League 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa with Carlin as well. Been in the top 10 11 times so far this year already, so you can see the consistency there. Shame about the Premier Equestrian Oxford, because I think that did unsettle them a little bit, but I still think incredibly, you know, talented and quick thinking of Lacey to be able to keep that going down the related distance to that really eye-catching plank fence and to continue in the way that they did.
just a little breather for a moment before our next coming in. Just to remind you, it is 9 clears so far. Shane Sweetenham, the latest of them, with James Can Cruz. Still some very good combinations coming up. We can see Adrian Sterlick's going to be on the way in just a moment or two, in theory. And then others to come into that with Samuel Porro, with Mark Blumen, with Kyle King, and to Nicolette Hurt, still to come on the list at the moment. In fact, looks like we're having a little change around, because that looks like Samuel Parro heading on down. It's certainly not Adrian Sterling anyway. And Samuel Parro with Crystal Blue, the gelding by Chaco Blue for the Chilean rider based in Florida. Another one that was jumping here last week as well as part of the shows here in Traverse City. Actually placed in the Grand Prix here last week as well, just outside the big money, but jumped round for just the 4 faults. Double clears here last week too. It's a newer ride for him as well. Was actually ridden briefly by Cassio Rivetti in Tryon, and actually came from Sweden.
Yeah, and as you say, they're really getting to grips with each other, but the horse is perhaps most established up to fences of 1.45 m, really. He's only jumped 4 rounds above 145, 2 at 150 and 2 at 155, so a little bit more of an unknown quantity at this height of fences, these being 1.50 m.
Yeah, it's been coming through the 2 and 3 stars really up to this point, and this is their first 5-star appearance as a partnership, and of course for this horse as an individual as well, but certainly has the talent if you watch them over the wall there. Basculing their way through the double at this stage by one of the leading stallions in the world right now in Chaco Blue as well. 11 years of age and a little less exposed into this top flight 150, as you say, level. Gets a bit of a drift there after the CP fence, but again Samuel then uses the opportunity to get the pace back.
2 podium finishes already here this month, as you say, in the 3-star level, both of those actually. Those both being at 1.45 m, but with double clears in those competitions.
Looking good.
Looks quite strong, doesn't it, the horse?
78.64, and Samuel Parro and Crystal Blue, using all their energy there, will give us clear round number 10 of this one so far. So the 10th clear at the stage of Samuel Parro and Crystal Blue joining in the mix for Chile. There we see Adrian Sterlich, so a little bit of a change around there. Adrian Sterlich and Benny's Legacy, multiple World Cup qualifying winning combinations. And gelding by Lupicor, now 14 years of age for the Starlight Farms. Now for Adrian with this well-established partnership. Finished well in the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. Again, hasn't had too many outings this season, actually headed over to Europe and won in a 2-star Grand Prix back in July.
Yeah, that was in Valkenswaard in the Netherlands. That was a 2-star 145 competition there. But earlier in the year, they had a 5-star win over 155 fences with a really nice double clear in Wellington. But as you say, 6th in the Hampton Classic. And then this year so far, their statistics are looking like 60% clear at fences of 150. 30 and 31% being in the top 10.
And remembering top 3 in that Grand Prix in California last year as part of the Major League jumping there at the Desert Horse Park. But back in their stride now. So a spare sparing season so far for this pair competing. Of course, she was part of the squad for the World Championships with Crystalline. That's taking up a lot of the time through the season as well. Coming through nicely so far for Adrian. Oh, what another one just to run into that Eagle Oxer. And it's going to be a little bit close over the time as well, so it's going to be a couple for time too. 80.03. Score of 6 in the end for Benny's Legacy and Adrian Sternlicht.
A couple of riders were commenting actually that the turn from the third last to the penultimate fence is quite a short turn, so it's interesting, as you say, that quite a few have had that fence down.
Mark Blumen and Noutje van der Winhoevel for the Bay Mare by Farfelu de Meuse. Again, a 9-year-old here for the over-the-top stable, same owners, of course, as those with Daniel Blumen as well. And Mark, of course, has also proved himself as a good team rider as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ridden on Team Helios this year already for some good performances to help them to some of their wins. He's ridden this horse on the team competition as well, and Team Helios, as you say, extremely they've been so consistent, you know, with those 3 wins. Just a bit of a tricky time last week, but they're still at the top of the tree. And this is a horse that he's been consolidating his partnership with over the course of the year. They're 40% clear over fences of 160, just getting a bit more solid at the upper levels.
Yeah, really neat, athletic-looking combination. Tidy all the way with Mark. Just keeps rattling along around that corner. Good pace for them back to the NetJets Oxer. And then it's, oh,
Another one with a problem at the penultimate fence.
yeah, it looked fine coming in from what we could see from here, and then just slides out to the side, but you get a different shot of it there and how they come down to that 5-stride to finish. But unfortunately, it's going to be 4+ time, so a score of 9 there for Mark Blumen, and definitely looking on his face, he wasn't expecting that one. In they come, and just slides out to the side, says no, we're not going there this time. So unfortunately it is 9 for Mark for Team Helios. Coming into our final few here, 10 clears at the moment in this afternoon's Calais jump off class. Kyle King making his way down with the Chess Groups. Chess owned by a group of owners now for Kyle. A horse that went successfully under Nick De La Joya as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this horse, because, as you say, it's had a few really quite high-profile riders, and now it's Kyle that's taking over the reins. In fact, it was ridden by Nick De La Joya really very recently. He rode this horse at the Major League Leg in Vancouver in the winning round competition for a 9th place. It was also previously ridden by Kent Farrington in 2021 and earlier than that.
Yeah, it's still keeping interest through the ownership, and Kyle King being mounted up now on Chess. And as you say, with Nick, went very well here previously through a group of shows in Traverse City and in Vancouver as well, just going round for a few rounds of just clear or 4. And again, this combination that headed up to Calgary in the last few weeks as well for the shows there, jumping round for just the 1 down, 2 in a good class. Into the 5-star Grand Prix there on week 1 of that Masters Series. Another one that just rolls down there into the front bar of that horizontal painted pole.
Interestingly, this horse has quite a good rate of getting into the top 10, 33% at 155, 31% at 150 height fences, but the clear round rate is actually relatively low considering the number of top 10s. They haven't had a clear for a little while.
Just on the 4 at the moment. It's got the definite ability, and Kyle building up with this. Just unfortunately again back bar of the eagle fence this time. Several coming in at the front, but he has the back bar, finishing on a total of 8 there. 76, 64, 8 faults for Kyle King this time around with chess. I think leaves us just the 1 left to go. And just lies onto that back pole. Nicolette Hertz, Oakgrove's Desperado. The French-bred gelding by de Montesemi for Nicolette from Alamo, California for the Iron Horse Equestrian. And looking to join what 10 clears set to return to go for the just over $73,000 prize money here. Oakgrove's Desperado. Again, just starting to get a few more big rounds into them. It's a new partnership this year as well with Nicolette, unfortunately retired in the Grand Prix in Ottawa a few weeks ago. And similar sort of didn't go into the Grand Prix at Angelstone, but they are in very early days as a pairing so far. So again, just building up. These are the good classes they need to get going.
Yeah, just been together since June of this year. Really just a couple of months in competition together. The horse was previously ridden by Jennifer Pedersen of Denmark and Harm Lada of Germany. They were 11th in a 3-star Grand Prix here in Traverse City in July. Just had 1 fence down and 1 time penalty for that result. But they're looking for a good result at the 5-star level, as you say, sadly retiring in Ottawa, but certainly got the potential there and stepping up to the level quite quickly after forming their partnership together.
Yeah, dropped short there. I was going to say, was also just going to be looking a little bit down the barrel of some time faults as well. Takes a circle there, just slightly drops them off kilter, having had that fence down. So takes a circle before coming into the final run here for Nicolette Hertz and Oakgrove's Desperado. There we go. 12 on the board. It's going to be a total of 24 with 12 more added for time. 90.59. For Nicolette Hertz and Oakgrove's Desperado for them. Here through the triple combination. Not too much trouble through there as well. Pick up nicely over the last part. But here just cramping up over the oxer there. And then similarly just not extending over the oxer on the way home as well. Total of 24 for Nicolette. And I think rounds off the first round of this $73,000 and $800 to add on top of that as well. Caladay 150 jumper class this afternoon. Plenty of jumping left to come, be it Manley, Connor Swale, Ashley Bond, Callie Schott, Daniel Blumen, Kent Farrington, Roberto Turan, McLean Ward, Shane Sweetnam and Samuel Parra. We've whittled it down to 10, but we've got a real top 10 coming up for you in that jump off in a few minutes.
2 competition. They will be looking for the best of the clear times over the jump-off course once we get to that. And again, we'll continue thanking our sponsors here in 2022 during this break.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall & Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall & Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall & Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit
The American Gold Cup. Over 50 years of history. A trophy that from its early origins in Cleveland has toured the country. From Florida to Pennsylvania, New York, and to a new home in Michigan. The early years dominated by household names Rodney Jenkins and Michael Matz. Big fences, big crowds and big rewards for winning this prestigious title. The 90s saw new faces and new venues, dominated by US Olympic medalist Ann Kaczynski. And the latest additions and more golden Olympic stars, Beezy Mann and Ken Farrington, and the latest running saw the stylish Brianne Gottal lift the trophy for a second time. A golden age of riders lifting the golden trophy.
Of course, the American Gold Cup is going to be the finale of the week here as our fall series brings us to a close for Traverse City Action 2022. And as always, the top-level sport as well as the pageantry of the North America's oldest and among the most prestigious Grand Prix show jumping events will certainly be a fitting finish to this year here in this beautiful location. We're going to go over the jump-off round with you now as our top of the order is coming down the ramp to show in our Caladay 5-star feature. We'll start things over the Caladay vertical once again, and that's that vertical with blue and yellow striped rails going toward home. Rolling back to the right, jumping away over the Premier Equestrian Oxer number 2. Then they'll go all the way over to the Cabana Coast side of the arena, jumping number 10 and the Dutch Tulip Oxer number 11. Number 14, the Southern Arches vertical will be included in this round. That's going away from home. Then a right turn as tight as possible approaching the pinstripe red and white combination 5AB. And then continuing on that right lead to gallop over the American Gold Cup fence number 6. To complete the course here today, we have a total of 10 qualified, one choosing not to come back. So in effect, it'll be a 9-horse jump off with Beat Madley showing the way here aboard Chartrand Prix Noir for Grant Road Partners LLC. Now he's already in the Captive One Open Jumper Rider bonus standings here this week, but this will be a chance should he be able to
with the jump off of this Caladay 5-star this afternoon, $73,800 in the prize fund. And what a strong lineup we have got coming up for you. One not jumping off, that's Ken Farrington or Rafina, may well be looking towards that American Gold Cup on Sunday. We'll put those to one side, but in the meantime, we'll pick up with Beat Manley and Chartrain Prix Noir for the Swiss rider aboard this horse for the Grand Road Partners, this 10-year-old French-bred ride by Cannon. Good record for them so far already in terms of jumping clears, and you'd expect that with a top-class pilot in the saddle as well. Gives it a good run back to the Premier Equestrian, but unfortunately it does come down. It's 1-2. Back over the arena here to 10. They've actually to the next of the fences on course, coming to that Cabana Coast fence at 10. Then from there, of course, that material has been changed on the Cabana Coast to be the 12-foot poles now. 10 and 11. New fence 14 coming in the centre here at the vertical. And from then it's 5 A and B to finish off. So coming home on the 4-foot, it's going to go into this double with the horizontal stripes going towards the in-gate. Doesn't make it so easy for them. And they have to go past the in-gate to the American Gold Cup fence. It is going to be a total of 8 there for Beat Manley and Chartrain Prix Noir. So for them, a little bit of a sticky start. Tough one to be the opening starter of what's a very strong field, Hannah.
Yeah, it's an extremely strong field. You know, even though Kent Farrington's not coming forward, we've got Connor Swale, who's in fact next in. Ashley Bond, Daniel Blumen and Callie Schott, both of them with their 5-star Grand Prix winners from the Major League legs already. Shane Sweetnam with James Can Cruz, extremely consistent combination as well. Just an absolutely fantastic international lineup of extremely experienced and consistent competitors.
Yeah, this one could certainly shake it up for the world number 4, Connor Swale. Vital Chance de la Roque, 13-year-old French-bred ride that we've seen go to some big finishes in the last few weeks. Absolutely stormed it up at Spruce Meadows a few weeks ago as well. And now could give us a real idea of pace. The Caladay fence, our sponsors to start off. Good loop round here. Back to another of the series sponsor, Premier Equestrian. Gets a little cut across that, gets away from there quickly at 9 seconds. Right across the arena, gets a really good inside shot to the Cabana Coast, and well balanced across the next as well. Use that ground. So economical in the run there so far. Swale not leaving much meat on the bone here at all. Just gets so close, it just starts to get very short on the way out of that double. Down to the last, just was a little bit off balance, but he gets it back well and sees him home in 39.99 for Connor Swale and Vital Chance de la Roque. Oh, close.
Oh, extremely close. I mean, coming through the double combination there, 5B was really rattling in the cups, the fence at the pole at the top of the fence, but stayed in. Luck was on his side.
Well, and it is going to be a tough one to beat. Ashley Bond, Caroline of Bullmore, is going to give it a go, because this pair can certainly, as those have been following through the season, deliver at this level and beyond as well. Winds up very swiftly away for Ashley for Team Helios as well. Similar line to that of Connor Swale. Maybe just gets a fraction wider that Cabana Coast fence, just putting that one more stride in, look like coming down to the Cabana Coast. Good slice across there. Really tight around the water. Again, if they get a big shot in, suddenly that second part becomes quite tight. The last, it's looking good. It could be well be a better time here, and it's looking good for Ashley Bond, Caroline of Bullmore, 37.49. Will take over a couple of seconds off the lead at this stage. Steam's ahead.
Pretty outstanding. You know, as you said, they were taking some pretty similar lines, but I think it was more flowing. She didn't take a pull to the last, and the horse seemed to be a little bit less economical actually over the fences versus Connor's horse, and so I think she was a little bit tighter into fence 10 as well.
Yeah, I can say those last 4. Again, we're really tight in the way she played that one out as well. And, you know, Connor just losing a fraction of a second on that little imbalance coming out of the double too. But still good stuff. 37.49, Carolina Bullmore and Ashley Bond now leading. Callie Schott, 5-star Grand Prix winners here previously in Traverse City too. Now take a run at this with Garant.
Very much an arena that we've seen suit this pair. With that fantastic win, they were the fastest of 4 in the jump-off in the 5-star Grand Prix here earlier this summer. Good shots at the Premier Equestrian fence. Pace-wise, this isn't looking quite as quick as Ashley Bond, but they could be deceptive. The horse covers the ground well. From 10 down to 11, it's certainly a pretty quick approach. Let's see how quickly she takes this turn. Yeah, it's not quite as tight, but she's keeping the pace up. And good through the double. I think she's going to be a little bit outside, perhaps Connor Swale's time. Yeah.
Yeah, 41.81, a little bit steady there for Callie Schott and Garrett, but still cleanly round, double clear for them, and another good round put under their belt. And we'll see them into third place so far. Look by the smile on her face, is happy enough with that. Daniel Bloom and Gemma W. All the tools in the box to go chasing here for the over-the-top stables for the now 11-year-old mare by Luidam.
Again, plenty of success in their record so far. Interesting approach to the first fence there. This pair, of course, winners of the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto, but that's only one of many wins and many successes in their career so far.
Good galloping shot to the Cabana Coast. Gets to shape the line through to the vases, back to this Southern Arches vertical added in this round. All of them coming around the water as tight as they dare, and again, just got to be so careful that second part can be a little bit of a road bump in here, and then they can let go as they go past the entrance to the American Gold Cup fence. It's good at 37.28, and it is enough to take over the lead. Daniel Bloom and Gemma W. slickly into the lead here in Traverse City. So, new leader, Gemma W. and Daniel Bloom on the back of that second spot in the Hampton Classic just a few weeks ago. They are still in absolutely flying form. 37.28. Now the time to beat. So Ken Farrington stepping aside in the jump off with Aura Fina. So he's saving that combination. So we'll go on to Roberto Turan and Des Uchtov.
.37.28, a pretty impressive time to beat, and actually, you know, he didn't look to be even in too much of a hurry, just really kept that pace up throughout to just shave 0.21 of a second off Ashley Bond's time.
Roberto smooth but steadier into that line. Just one fence from home. Going to be home on a smooth round at 39.15. Not chasing the leader, but still a very solid one indeed for Roberto Turan and Des Uchtov. We'll see them into third place so far. Still leaving Daniel Bloom at the top, Ashley Bond in second place at this point. McLean Ward, Ilias for the Beechwood Stables. Stallion by Emerald. So he only really jumped in the big classes here and in the Hampton Classic a few weeks ago with his ride from Annabelle Rivers, but a horse he knows very well. Good, slick one. It's a light, fast horse as well that may well be suited here.
Yeah, gets away from the fences very quickly.
Little touch there, takes off the pace in the middle of that related line. Just steady, just suddenly found that short in there as well. It could be enough though. Has it slowed them enough? Has it made a difference? 36.72 says no, it hasn't. They go into the lead. McLean Ward and Elias now lead the way. Really good shot from those, as I say. a newer pairing on Annabelle Rever's former ride for the Beechwood team. And of course he rides a number of very good horses for them. New leader then, McLean Ward and Ilios. It is Daniel Blumen into second now with Gemma W. Ashley Bond in third.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because to watch Connor Swales round, that actually looked quite fast-paced. But I think there were just a couple of points where he had to take a little bit of a wider turn. He had to swing out a little bit to that new fence 14 in the middle of the arena, and I think just that wasted them a couple of seconds. The 36.72, I mean, what an amazing time. About half a second off the time of Daniel Blumen and Gemma W. Oh, this is a real angle. And Shane Sweetenham and James Can Cruz. It's amazing that this horse is still a 9-year-old with everything they've done recently, especially.
But again, some develop like that. Big Star was in a similar vein, and quite a few of the big ones over the years that have shown a little bit of extra maturity. I'm sure there's still a little bit of 9-year-old in there. 36.62 now leading. Shane Sweetenham, James Can Cruz, certainly Can Cruz into the lead. Brilliant stuff from them. They just do it with such ease. So lovely to watch. Sweetenham beats off McLean Ward into second place now with Ilias. Still one to take a shot, but you'd say Sweetenham, if you were betting, has maybe done enough here. We'll see. Very fast combination to come last, but not quite the experience of the horse in terms of taking a run at these type of jump-offs. The rider has. Samuel Parot has won plenty of Grand Prix with the Chilean rider, but this 11-year-old for Mario Nate by Chaco Blue hasn't been quite so exposed to a real run-off here between the likes of Sweetenham, Ward and Blumen and Bond so far. Connor Swale now all the way down in 6th place.
We were saying it was an impressive lineup in the jump-off earlier on, and it's certainly an impressive lineup in the top 6, top 7, the whole way down the leaderboard at the moment. As you say, has this horse got the experience? He was just easing off a little bit, I think, going down to fence 10. He knows that 36.62 might be quite a big ask.
I think they're going to be doing their round as opposed to chasing Sweetenham's round from that point of view. I'd say just purely because the horse hasn't got the same, even though James Can Cruz is a 9-year-old, hasn't got quite the same mileage. Sweetenham's ride having been ridden into a good position in the Dublin Grand Prix a few weeks ago, ridden some brilliant rounds in the Nations Cup as well, but it's a really good round for Samuel Parra and Crystal Blue regardless. Nicely done, puts them on the clear at 40.94. Nothing to be too disappointed with there. They go into 7th place overall. It's a list of clears throughout, and Shane Sweetenham, James Can Cruz will win the Calladay 150 class this afternoon, the run-up to the American Grand Prix this week. Some really good ones to take a look at there in view of Sunday's big class. I'll be taking a run through them a little later on with McLean Ward. You can look out on social media for that as well. Ilias finishes in 2nd with Ward. It is Daniel Blumen in 3rd with Gemma W. Ashley Bond in 4th with Caroline of Bullmore. 5th to Roberto Terran and Dezuk Tov. 6th to Connor Swale, vital chance to La Rock in the end. Last out there, Samuel Parot finishing in 7th and Kelly Shot in 8th. But Manley having a couple down and Ken Farrington electing not to jump off. So that may well also play into his hands yet, saving the gunpowder for later on in the week. So $73,800 class Calladay sponsored lineup is going to see a #1 spot for Shane Sweetenham of Ireland, James Can Cruz. Remember to join us tomorrow as well for the team competition for Major League Jumping. That will be tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock local time here in Traverse City. 2-star Grand Prix as well, I think going to be in the morning as well. Lots to bring you tomorrow. Some super rounds already, but that just gives you a little appetizer of what to expect over the next 2 days. Hannah and Tori, I think, are going to take you through tomorrow morning. We'll be back for the team class tomorrow night as well. Looking forward to that. Hannah, have a relaxing evening. We will be back. Exciting stuff here in Traverse City. Look forward to seeing you then. We're back tomorrow. See you over the weekend.
earn the right to do so, with Oafina will finish in 10th. Andrew Wells and Idle H&H narrowly missed the first round mark by a fraction of a second, and that gave them the 11th spot with just one fault. And then the fastest four faulter, Lucy Delaurier and Inanda, will round out our top 12 in the rankings here in our Caladay meter 50 jumpers. Top three preparing to join us for the awards presentation. Here they are, top three for the awards in our Caladay meter 50. The top honors again going to Shane Sweeten, and with James Conn Cruz, it's McLean Ward and Ilya second, Daniel Blumen and Gemma W in our third position. All three of the podium position finishers are with us now, and of course we'll ask you to honor that winning nation, the nation of Ireland, as we ask you to please rise and remove cover. Again, anthem of our winning rider here from Ireland, Shane Sweeten, and with James Conn Cruz. We also again have McLean Ward and Daniel Blumen. Daniel will make his way in for the photograph here. And Matt Morrissey of Morrissey Management Group, who bring you the American Gold Cup, the entirety of the Traverse City Series, and of course our Major League Show Jumping Tour will be on hand to honor these top three. It's Daniel Blumen aboard Gemma W, who posted 37.28 for that yellow ribbon win. only arriving here today, and it looks like he had made a trip that was worth it as he finishes up in good money here for our Caladay Meter 50. Third place honors to Daniel Blumen and Gemma W. Placing the runner-up spot, it was McLean Ward with Ilias again in 36.72. Gemma W., the Daniel Blumen ride for Over the Top Stables. McLean riding for Beechwood Stables LLC here with Ilias. He's had a speed win and now a jump-off runner-up placing today. But again, the top call goes to Shane Sweetnam and James Con-Cruz. Winning time was just a 1/10 of a second faster. James Con-Cruz, the Gizmo Partners LLC entry for today's victory. Prize money, Captain One Open Jumper Rider bonus points, and of course another of those coveted American Gold Cup coolers going out to accompany the ribbon. And Shane Sweetnam will now also lead the victory pass with James Con-Cruz. Nicely done here in our Meter 50. Another 5-star feature on the American Gold Cup weekend here at our Traverse City Fall Series. As we wrap things up here in our presentation of awards, Shane Sweetnam gets himself another ribbon. Top of the list here with, again, McLean Ward in the second spot, Daniel Blumen in third. That's another share of, again, those points to the Captive One Open Jumper Rider bonus standings. We've got just a few classes left this weekend that'll contribute to that, and it's a $30,000 bonus prize that'll be presented following this Sunday's feature, the 51st running of the American Gold Cup. Looking forward to that. We also are looking forward to our Major League Team event, which is scheduled to take place here tomorrow. So it's a weekend chock full of action here at the American Gold Cup. For right now, we're going to continue on with a few more classes in our Friday edition, namely the 7-year-old USHJA Young Jumpers, followed by the High Junior Amateur Jumpers. We have 4 entries and 18 entries in those classes, respectively. We'll be back after a little bit of adjustment here for those 7-year-olds. We have a new leader